Thank you for watching. This is Jake Ducey with Into the Wind TV, and I'm here with Andrea Cox from the Healthy Haven. And what what this is about, Into the Wind TV, is we see people, quote unquote, on the top of the mountain, a beautiful person or somebody with following their dream. However, what I'm interested in is the journey up the mountain. So maybe you could please just begin by sharing what it is that you do, and we can just flow.
Thank you, Jake. And I love what we've shared so far. Andrea Cox with thehealthyhaven.net and andreacox.com and alkalizewithandrea.com are my websites. I am a raw vegan celebrity chef. I'm from Ohio. I moved out here to California about 1.5 years ago, and I run cleansing, juicing retreats and help people detox and clean out their bodies so they can clear their minds and open their hearts to what they're really supposed to do in life and who they really are.
So what I'm most interested in anyone's life really is going against the social norms, and it's against the social consensus on health to eat raw. I mean, we grew up saying this is what you eat this, you eat that.
Got milk.
Yeah.
Got milk?
Yeah, right. So
Got green juice?
what is interesting to me is the walking away of society, of the norm, and I would like you to please share about that process. What made you come to this decision? What was your life like before? And we're just flowing here.
Well, good questions. My life before was very, I'm gonna be honest, very empty and very shallow. I was a fitness model. I started off as like a pinup girl, more of a men's magazine model, and then I went into fitness and did several magazines. I had the largest ever number of pages in Muscular Develop magazine. I was the most downloaded Palm Pilot girl one year, and it was it was fun and exciting, but there was a lot of focus on the exterior, and there wasn't any focus on the interior. There was no focus on building myself and finding out who I was. And of course I was young. I was your age. I was early 20s, all up until I turned 30. And it was exciting, but very empty. And I think a lot of the emptiness came from the way I was eating, to be honest with you. I was eating a very high protein diet.
What was your typical meal?
Oh, a typical day for me would be waking up, doing cardio on an empty stomach, following it with I could cry, following it with a whey protein shake, which we know is made in a factory and it's just dead. And then I would follow that with like an egg omelet with some steamed asparagus, and then later a protein bar, and then a chicken salad. It was like the 6 meal a day meathead bull crap that was beat into my brain. And I'd weight train in the evening, a lot of over exercising, or what I now call exercise bulimia. And I didn't develop my eating disorder, which I developed until years after I started fitness modeling. It was really odd. Most women develop an eating disorder when they're very young, like 17 or 18. Mine came at about 22. And I remember being on a shoot, and a girl I was on a shoot with showed me how to vomit. She said, "Come here, Andrea, I want to show you something." She was a beautiful girl. She was from Romania. I still remember her name. And she showed me how to vomit. And I thought, well, I'm never going to do that. But then here a week later, I had eaten some, ice cream or something, because, as eating a standard American diet, or even a high protein, quote unquote, healthy diet, you have cravings, you're so mineral deficient that you'll binge, on anything. So I'd had a binge, and I stuck my finger down my throat. And that was the first of several years of sticking my finger down my throat. And that went on for about 7 years. And it was the loneliest time of my life. I was in a very loving relationship with a wonderful person that was older than me, a little bit older, about 8 years older, and very educated and a great guy. But he dealt with my eating disorder the whole 10 years that we were in a relationship. It was just consuming my life. And, it would be where I would diet down for a photo shoot for a month, fly off somewhere, go do a photo shoot, come out in a few magazines, come home, and for 2 weeks it would be binge purge, binge purge, binge purge, over-exercise, and then the whole cycle would repeat itself again. And it was difficult because I was getting paid to, be on these magazines, and it was really killing me. And yes, society played a role in it, but really a lot of deficiencies I had that I later found out, B vitamin deficiencies, zinc deficiencies, played a huge role in it as well. Mineral deficiencies in general. I'm going to sip some water. Can I sip water? No.
So mineral deficiencies were causing you to do this? Why?
Yeah, zinc deficiency is huge in binge eating and bulimia and anorexia. That's a huge component of an eating disorder, and I've talked about that several times. Society did play a role in it, but not really, because I was the girl on the magazine. So it was like, I was the girl on the magazine, so it wasn't like I was concerned with everybody, because it was easy for me. It was easy for me to get the covers. It was easy for me other girls were striving to even get their picture in a magazine, and I would have the 64-page layout, so it was an easy thing for me.
So have you met young girls especially that have this problem, and what's something that you say to somebody who has that? Because at least people that I've known in my life, I haven't heard it specifically through mineral deprivation, rather is the too much concern on a body image.
Emotional. Yeah, there's a huge emotional component, and that's what I love that my partner Carrie and I do at our retreats, is we bring that out, that there's a huge emotional component along with the physiological component of mineral deficiencies. The thing is, Jake, when you are full of minerals and you're full of live food and you're in balance and you're in check and everything's working synergistically in your body, your mind, if you're thinking, I think I'm going to eat, you don't want Twinkies. You don't want that binge food. And then the other just falls away. You don't want to get rid of it because you're not really, if you binge on 7 mangoes, it's not a binge. That's a meal for me, So you're so full of life-giving food that you really don't feel the need to go through that whole abusive process. And I still go through the mental stuff. I still, even today with no sleep, like I told you earlier, I think I had 5 or 6 mangoes for a meal, and I thought, it was a little too much. But it's not a big deal. It's not something to where I feel like I need to run 6 miles tonight or run into the bathroom, or I just think, I'm going to have great energy for my run tomorrow morning. I'm carved up, carved up.
So when you went raw, what was it like first? It doesn't matter whether you're going raw or if you're dropping out of school or whatever you're doing, you're still going against the grain. So, there's similarities in all of it. And so we have a program that's running in our mind of this is what's normal. Was there things you had to release or was it like
Oh,
you just
God.
started to feel it on your own? And then what was it like with other people when you're like, I'm eating raw, and it's like, what? You know, because it's different.
Let's talk about how I got there.
Okay.
Let's talk about the defining moment. So I had went through a loss of a relationship, and a 10-year relationship, and I was down. I had moved home with my mom. I wasn't treating her the best. I wasn't treating anyone in my life good at all. Everybody in my life, it was just about, I just was in my own world. I just didn't feel good about myself. I was still modeling, and I remember it was Valentine's Day. This is how the eating disorder ended, but this isn't why I went raw, but we'll get to that. It was Valentine's Day. This was years ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I remember vomiting in the bathroom and thinking, it's Valentine's Day, I'm beautiful, I'm on a cover of a magazine, and I'm in my bathroom alone on Valentine's Day. Surely this is not supposed to be my life. This is going to change, and this is the last time I'm going to do this. And then the research began. And I mean, I pounded it, like what causes an eating disorder, what. And that's how I figured out the zinc, and I tested myself, and I found out I was low right away, and was like, oh my God. And I started taking zinc, and it takes years to replenish. But then I moved out of my mother's. I had moved home and went through that, grieving process I was going through of, that. And I moved home. I left home again and was living my life, still eating the high protein diet. And I woke up one day, and I remember I could not straighten out my fingers. So I'd been on this high protein diet for years, and I woke up, and literally my hands were like this, and it was like an autoimmune thing. Still to this day, have no clue what that was, but thank God that it happened, because I was like, what? Why do I feel like can I say shit?
You can say whatever you
Why
want.
do I feel like shit? I'm supposed to be eating great. I'm eating this high protein. I'm eating 6 meals a day. I'm working out. Why do I feel like shit? I look good. Why do I feel like this? And all of a sudden, it dawned on me, I'd been reading this raw food book by an author in New York, and my mom suggested that I fly out and meet her. I think my mom and my next door neighbor suggested it. They're like, why don't you fly out and meet her? So I did. The next day I flew to New York. It was in the winter. I flew to meet her, and I realized in minutes of speaking to her that she did not know what she was talking about. I knew it wasn't her. It was her colon hydrotherapist that had all the information. And I think as women, I don't want to put men down, but I think as women, we are very intuitive, and I really feel like that intuition kicked in me and was like, okay, it's not her. Meet her colon hydrotherapist. And I did meet her colon hydrotherapist, and I ended up doing 40 days on green juice, 7 days on water. It was the easiest thing I ever did in my life outside of going raw. And that was it. It was so easy for me to go raw. It wasn't like I transitioned. And I did raw wrong for years. I wasn't food combining properly. I was eating way too much fat. I was all over the board. But I think you find your path, and we're always working to kind of see what works for us. And I think the body's always changing too.
And that's regardless of whether you're going raw or whether you're studying something, the path, as you just said.
Yeah.
So here's something that I'm interested in. As you said, it was definitely a grieving time, What is, besides eating raw and it changing your cellular structure, were there any specific other tools or things that you did that got you out of that low state?
Yeah, I'm releasing still. I still release. I release in my colonics every week. I release when I sweat in my sauna. I release when I'm working out. I think we constantly have to be releasing in order to move forward.
So what are great ways to release? You said sweating in your sauna, things like that. What are other
Sweating, our skin's our largest organ. Sweating, definitely sweating. I would say juicing and cleaning out our body on. Can I stop real quick, Eric?
Yeah.
I feel weird, like I feel like I should be talking to something and I'm not facing at that.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
thanks.
So
Sorry,
that's all good.
no editing yet. Just that.
So you spoke of this state, this low state, this grieving state, and in order to get out of that, you had to move forward. And I think a lot of people are, whether it's something that's not even pertaining to something that's health related and in their diet, we still get into this state. And what are a few ways that you use or still use or have used in order to propel yourself out of a lower state?
That's
of
an
yourself?
awesome question, Jake. I think releasing, I do release in my colonics. I release in sweating through our largest organ of our body, which is our skin. I think juicing and not feeling like you have to eat all the time, but skipping a meal here and there. It doesn't have to be a 3-day juice fast, a 7-day juice fast, or even a 1-day juice fast. Just skip a meal. Let yourself feel what you're feeling instead of stuffing it down constantly.
Yeah.
We're constantly freaking stuffing it down. Stop. Wait until your body actually feels the need. So many people are in their routine, Stop that. Feel your stuff. Let it come up, whether it's a breakup or whatever it is, let it come up. Crying. I cry all the time. I'm a baby. We go from like generations before me, which is way before your time. It's like years ago, like the Stone Age. No, they were told not to cry. They're like, suck it up, hold it down. And we've got to cry. If we're not crying, we're not releasing anything. Like we're just holding it down. And it's not only does it hurt us on a cellular level and can cause cancer if you stuff those feelings down, it literally, it changes our whole demeanor. Like if you've ever read Louise Hay, have you read anything of hers? I love her. We share the same colon hydrotherapist. Yeah, we should work something out where you meet her. Anyway, like her books are amazing. Like if you don't speak your mind, you'll get a sore throat. I have a sore throat today. I woke up yesterday with a sore throat and have one today on the left side. Left side is female. I'm not speaking something that I need to speak. I'm not expressing myself like I need to express, like, And I know what it is, and I know what I need to do and who I need to say it to and what I need to get off my chest, and I'll do it. But until then, I'm going to have a sore throat and swollen glands because I'm not saying it, You've got to feel and let everything just go and not hold anything in and not suppress it with food, drugs, or alcohol. I moved to California a year and a half ago. Everybody out here has a legal marijuana card. A legal marijuana card. Like, I have not met one person that doesn't have one. What is that? Am I the only one that, I know it's an herb, am I the only one that sees a problem in that? You can answer that question.
Well, I don't have a medical marijuana card, so.
Huh?
I said I don't have a medical marijuana
Well,
card.
good.
So
That's
there,
good.
got
You're
to meet
young,
your
though,
first
so
person.
good.
So,
Like, I think we're always trying to use a substance to stuff things down.
I agree. I thought that was really, I think that's something that, well, how do you get somebody, so I agree that I've done a lot of fasting, water fasting, or like skipping a couple meals, and I realized that we block a lot of our emotions by the food we're taking in. But how do you get somebody to a position to even do that? Like you work with people one-on-one too. There's so many people that are like, our minds are programmed in a certain way where it's like, no, I have to eat, or we have to do this. Like, and I think a lot of people actually, I think that's really true, and it's also can be a huge development stage with us personally when we can be able to skip a meal from time to time, or we go on a juice fast, or even if it's just eating one meal for one day. But how do you get somebody to that position to even do that?
This is beautiful that you're talking about this, because this is something that I'm just now getting back into lately, because I used to water fast for one day a week. I'm going to giggle because I saw our cameraman crawling across the floor. I used to water fast one day a week, and it was a very healing experience for me. But I have to be careful, because the time of my life right now, I want my hormonal system to be peak balance, and that tends to make my menstrual cycle go away completely, which is another way of letting go. But that being said, I also had to be careful because of my past history with an eating disorder, because that one day a week of water fasting became a stronghold with me that I felt I needed to do every week. But I would say getting someone to get to that point, a lot of people get to that point because they get sick. They get unhealthy. And I think it was Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine. Well, let no food be thy medicine. You know what I mean? Let no food be thy medicine. You're going to hate this. The light just went off on that. Okay. He'll edit that stuff. Sorry to break our flow.
No, I don't care. It's still fun.
I'm so used to a camera, like with Eric and with going on the news and stuff, that I notice stuff. I'm like, okay, light went out. Something's wrong. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. You don't need to say sorry.
So let thy food be our medicine, or let no food be thy medicine. If I was sick, like ill, I had like cancer or something, like the first thing I would do is drop the fork. Drop the frickin' fork, it's, nobody ever died from skipping a meal. Last time I checked, for someone to get to that path, maybe they could eat fruits and vegetables only in a raw state for 3 or 4 days, and maybe they wouldn't even have to do a water fast. That's a cleanse in itself. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think education is so key. Like, we need to teach people that raw food is not celery sticks and almond butter. It's freaking beautiful. It's gourmet. We talked about how you haven't been to Olak, the raw vegan restaurant in Orange County. That's amazing. And I'm going to make sure you go there, because that is an experience. And it's an experience. The chef there has taken a 10-year vow of silence. You can't interview him, unfortunately. But
well, you can. We just won't talk.
But I took my mother, who's in her 60s, who, she still eats a little bit of meat. She actually doesn't since she's moved from Ohio to Arizona. But I took her there the last time she was here. She almost cried when she left. It was an experience to show her how good the food tasted. She had had my salads and, things like that. But it was such an experience for her. And that's what people need to, experiment, look online, find recipes, make the food taste good. Take that 15 minutes in the morning to marinate your kale salad before you leave. Trade in the coffee for a Gynestemma elixir. You know what I'm saying? Look up.
I don't know what you're saying because I never heard of that.
You never heard of Gynestemma? Oh my gosh, you're going home with gifts. Really?
Uh-huh.
It's a Ron Tea Garden Truth Calkins thing. It's a herbal tea, and then you add Chinese herbs in it, and it's nice. It's nice.
What is, if you're looking at 99% of the population, what is the biggest, people you worked with, whomever, what do you think is the biggest contaminant that we take into our body that's kind of the social consensus on this is okay to eat?
The biggest contaminant, meaning the biggest thing that's hurting us,
Mm-hmm.
I would say our water, we've got to make sure we have clean water. Our air sucks too, let's face it. Let me just start with my top 3 because there's
Yeah, do
so
that.
freaking many that let me just start with my top 3. So the first thing I would say is our water. Get clean water. Get spring water. Spring water you can trust. Forget the Kangen, the this, the that. I have a Kangen water system, an alkaline. That's great if you want to alkalize, if you're already really clean by yourself. You want to kick it up to the next level. But go for fresh, quality spring water. Don't get the one that's in the plastic jug. Don't leave it sit in your car for 2 days, so then you're getting all the crap from the plastic. You don't need that. So put a shower filter on your shower, or get a reverse osmosis system. If you don't have the money for that, get a shower filter. The water. Our skin is the largest organ of our bodies.
Isn't there a lot of chlorine that's coming through showers?
There's
in public
fluoride,
ones?
there's chlorine,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of crap. There's other people's drugs, prescriptions drugs that they've taken is recycled in the water.
Oh gosh.
I mean, there's so much shit in the water. Like, that is the first thing that needs to change. If one of my family members, if she says she's out of water, she lives in a very hot area. Well, my mom, I'll just use my mom as an example. She's like, I'm out of water. I got to go get water. I'm on her like crazy, like on the phone, like, Mom, did you get your water? Did you get your water? Did you get your water? So I'd say the second thing are these little devils right here. The freaking cell phones and the computers and the TV. I don't watch TV. I live in a house that everything was supplied here when I moved in. So there are TVs in here. They don't turn on. I think it's dead, mindless crap that steals from my creative energy. Like, I feel like I have to go bathe nude in sunlight after I watch TV for 5 minutes. Seriously. Like, I go on TV on the morning news all the time for my food, and I don't even watch that. Like, I'll watch it on the internet later. I cannot stand TV. Computers, that's hard, because we're all doing stuff on computers now, so we have to be around them. So computers are another thing. But the cell phone, holding it up to our heads, that's brain cancer. I mean, it's the worst thing. I know there's been studies done that show that. So, let's get the little plastic thingy that has the protection on it and put the protection thing on the cell phone. Let's cut the computer off after a certain time, which I'm guilty of not doing. Let's turn off the TV for the kids. The third thing I would say are cosmetics, lotions, cleaning products, freaking laundry detergent. All that shit needs to go. You trade it out for the natural form. You use natural shampoo and conditioner in the shower, or you make your own. You use coconut oil and aluminum-free baking soda to brush your teeth, or you buy Tom's. Huge. You don't stop using Mitchum and all those frickin' deodorants that we grew up on. Use Tom's or a Crystal or something. The stuff works, and you're not putting aluminum into your bloodstream. Mm-hmm. You're putting like arsenic into your bloodstream. Isn't it arsenic or aluminum?
I know it is aluminum. I don't know. Probably maybe it's. I wouldn't be surprised if it's arsenic too.
And we wonder why we're so sick, and that stuff goes into our bloodstream. So that's another thing. Soaps, our body lotion. I use coconut oil. I use olive oil on my face as a moisturizer. Do not use that stuff. And women, you're wondering why your hair won't grow. And men, you're wondering why your hair is falling out. Stop using the crap. Stop putting the crap in your body. Even men who have gray in their hair, they're like, that's easily fixable. That's so fixable with diet. That's fixable with Hoshu Wu, which is a Chinese herb, but also cleaning up your diet. I've had clients that actually their eye color changes, and I'm sure you've heard of that. When people get clean, their eye color goes back to their natural.
Yeah, when I went on juice fast and stuff, people will I'll notice people will say a lot more about my eyes and stuff too. So I think definitely.
Did you just get off of one? Because your eyes look amazing. No, I'm seriously asking you.
I did one last weekend, actually, yeah.
For just 2 days?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that again. I'm gonna have to do that.
Okay, so did you get flack from anyone in fitness industry when you started doing this? Because like when people start following their heart and quit following society, when oftentimes I've heard people say like, okay, how do I get beyond everyone saying this? Or like, how do you walk by yourself when you're so used to it going with everybody else? Did that happen to you? And and you're like, I'm not eating raw.
I got flack from Ohio because I was living in Ohio. That's where my flack came. They were like, what is raw food? Sushi? I mean, I honestly felt like I was the only raw foodist in Ohio. I just moved here. It's not even been 2 years. So now I feel like I'm in a community where it's so embraced and so loved. But I got to give the Dayton Daily News and Fox 45 and Channel 2 in Ohio a lot of credit, because they put me on the cover of the newspaper in the Dayton Daily News when I came out with my book, Rawlicious Recipes. They had me juicing carrots in the picture, and it said The Raw Chef. And that was the first time that, and then the news appearances followed, that people actually were like, oh, she's not crazy. Because what happened, Jake, I'm so glad you brought that up. I want to make sure people can hear us.
Right on.
What happened is I got so thin when I went raw. I weigh about
That's my problem.
Well, I wish it was my problem now. So I weigh about I weigh about 126 now, but I got down to 97 pounds for about a year and a half. So 97 pounds on a girl my height with my curvatures was just way too thin. So while I had that eating disorder the whole entire time I was a fitness model, no one ever said anything because I looked healthy according to society with my big muscles and my six pack and my all of my disgusting clogged fake glory. Okay? But when I went raw and I went vegan, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop. I have to ask, are we okay? Oh, okay. Sorry. But when I went raw and I went vegan, I lost so much weight that like my family wanted to I thought they were going to do an intervention or something. I mean, they were like, what are you doing? You're so sick. My sister wrote me this long email. I will never forget it. And it said, I love you. Are you listening? Was the title of the email. True story. My sister Cassandra wrote this. I love you. Are you listening? Now, I understand why she wrote it. She was coming from a place of love because I was 97 pounds. I looked like I was about to die. But what she didn't know is I was eating abundant I was drinking green juice every day, like 32 ounces. I was doing blue-green algae. I was eating avocado salads, fresh fruit. However much I wanted, it was just falling off of me because it's one big detox when you go raw. And so that was really hard for me because for a year and a half, I spent it totally alone. Nobody would talk to me in town. They thought I had anorexia, and I just wanted to wear a t-shirt that said, I did have bulimia and I did have anorexia, but I don't anymore. I just went raw. Please be my friend. I mean, it was that.
You might have to put a sign instead of a shirt because that would be pretty long.
It would be. You're right. It would be pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. But yeah, it was hard.
How do you go beyond that?
How did I get beyond it?
How do you get beyond the circumstance of it feeling hard? Were there any things you used? Was it, people are, okay, I'm going after my dream right now. I'm doing this, but everyone's concerned. Everyone thinks that I'm crazy. What was a tool that you used that
so sweet. Yeah. You need to go after your dreams. A tool that I used was I wrote a lot, and it was so much alone time. I will tell you, everybody has their own opinion, but man, one-on-one conversations with God, hands and knees, literally every night. I lived in a big house by myself. Every night after dinner, hands and knees. I had 3 books. I had my Bible, pink leather-bound Bible that my friend Colette got for me. I had a book by Beth Moore called Praying God's Words that led me to prayer about food strongholds and addictions and really helped me a lot. And I had a journal that I would write in, and I would just talk to God every single night, like, help me find my path. I know there's something in this movement for me to do. I know I want to help girls with eating disorders. I'm not going to cry today, but
You go, girl.
I knew I wanted to help girls with eating disorders because I knew that so many people were dealing with what I was dealing with. I knew that so many girls had their heads in a toilet bowl, and they were ruining their bodies by abusing them, and they were lonely and felt alone. And I knew that there was a better way of helping them than the main population was helping them by putting them on a standard meal plan that was just going to make them sicker. I knew there was a better way. And I thought, okay, and I had a vision. I thought through videos, through being on TV, through using the outside to grab people and pull them in, and then saying, hey, but look at this way I eat, was the way I was going to go.
What is, first, before you stop crying, we're going to play patty cake for a second to change your mind. Patty cake,
patty cake, baker's, wait! Patty cake, baker's man.
Bake me an avocado salad
as fast as you.
What's health mean?
What does health mean? That's like do 15 jumping jacks before you shoot. What does health mean? Feeling truly good and centered and good about yourself, and having a balance to where you have a pie and your family is one piece, God is one piece, your nutrition is one piece, your what you love, what to create is another piece. Having it balanced and not putting half the pie is your nutrition and a sliver is God, and this, having it balanced. I also think putting God, your spirituality first, family second, career third. Not making, oh, let me focus all my stuff on my career, and then, everything else will follow. And also, I just sent out a newsletter on this, being your true, authentic self, letting go of the ego. Freaking letting it go. I mean, letting go of, like, what do these people think about me? Like, I don't even want to name, I'm just going to stick to us, you and me. I'm not going to bring up situations, but
Andrea and I just broke up.
Did you break up with a girl named Andrea? I just got rid of someone out of my life because honest to God, coming from a place of always being concerned about what other people thought my whole entire life, and now transitioning into this new level of being like, can I curse?
You can do whatever.
Here I'm quoting God, but I'm
not
about,
limiting it.
Of saying screw it, and I want people to know the real me, and then feeling like someone in my close, because we're most like the 5 people we spend our time with, feeling like someone in my circle was so concerned with what everybody else thought, and what, it was like eye-awakening for me. It was like, I have to change myself. I've got to really change myself because I don't want to be like that. I've been like that my whole life. I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't give a shit what people think. Who cares if they, who's this girl talking about raw food and being real and she looks fake and this and that? It's like, if you don't like me, it's okay, because I'm going to love you and I'm going to give my heart to you and I'm going to show you what I'm about. And if you don't like it, so be it.
Okay, last 2 questions. What's beauty in one word? What's a synonym for beauty?
A synonym for beauty. That's an awesome question. A synonym for beauty, I think, would be I don't want to say raw. I have it in my mind, and I don't want to say it. I would say a synonym for beauty for me. I mean, just for me, beauty to me. Two things. You want one word?
You can say two.
Well, being true to yourself, but God is beautiful. God, I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind is God. I mean, the all-encompassing God, who I feel is within all of us, but we put him first and everything falls into place. So that's beautiful because no one's perfect but him. None of us are perfect. None of us are truly clean and beautiful beyond him. But when we put him first and we have faith in him, the faith comes in ourselves and we're like, I can do that. It's not crazy what I'm trying to do. It's not crazy dropping out of college and following my dream. It's because I'm going to be something bigger because he's within me and he's going to do that.
The last thing that I would like you to do is please, you can just look at the camera and I would like you to please just say quickly there's going to be a short film, like 5 to 7 minutes, about engaging as a world citizen. Each person, I would like to share the 3 things. The first one you shared was clean water. You please just share it like that, and we'll cut that part out, and I'm going to put that viral.
So we're going to cut that old part out?
Just
I'm just going to go tight on you and do that.
Yeah, just tight on you, and just please say to engage as a, whatever word you want to use, a world citizen, your fullest potential. Can you please just say the water? You said
the water, the products.
the products. I forget what your last one was. Maybe
Wasn't
you could
the
just
air, but what else did I say?
you could say God for the third one.
You got 1 minute.
Really? You only have 1 minute? To engage as a citizen?
Yeah, as a world citizen.
To engage as a world citizen, seek God first. Then seek out the cleanest water you can find. Then get rid of all the toxic people, chemicals, cleaning products, food that's not grown either by yourself or in clean organic soil. All the stuff you're putting on your body, on your skin, your largest organ, get rid of it all.
This is Jake Ducey with Into the Wind TV, and thank you for watching, and check out Andrea Cox online. Thank you.
I love him. I love you. You're awesome. Lewis, stay down. I want to make something with him.